All right, today we're going to be talking about Chapter 9, Lesson 6. This is called Permutations. So a permutation, this is dealing with an arrangement. So a permutation is an arrangement or listing of objects where the order is important. Order is important. So, for example, if I pick something and I have 3 selections that I can make, the first one can have 3 options, but then the second one I've already used one of those options, so I have less that I can use. So what we have here, this is what the it's going to look like. So we have P, and what this means, I know P also looks like probability, but this is going to be permutation. And we have 2 numbers in here. So for example, we have A and B. This right here is options. This right here is available openings. Now, a lot of times, those are going to be the same number, but sometimes they're not. For example, we could be talking about I have 30 students. I need to send 3 of them to the library to get something. These are the 3 students that I could choose. How many different options are there? So this would be 30 options, and this would be 3 available openings. So let's go ahead and do some examples here. So example 1, there are 5 people on a bowling team. If they bowl one at a time, which is what you do on a bowling team, how many ways can they order the team? So obviously you will have 5 positions that could be filled. This is person going first, and then second, and then third, and then fourth, and then fifth. So in this first spot, you have 5 people that you could choose from. After that first person is chosen, you only have 4 choices left for the second position, and 3 choices left for the third, and then 2 choices left for the fourth, and then the last person is going to automatically slot into that 5th spot. Now, to figure out the number of ways with the fundamental counting principle that we just talked about, so you have 4 options, or 5, and then 4, and then 3, and then 2, and then 1. So we multiply those 5 options together. So you do 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. And if you multiply all those numbers together, you get 120 different ways. To set up the team. All right, let's look at example 2 here, because really this one was this kind of notation. We have 5 options and 5 openings. We now have something a little bit different. 15 students are running for 7th grade student council. In how many different ways can the president, vice president, and secretary be chosen? So now you have 3 openings. So you have president, vice president, and secretary. In this first option, there are 15 total students that you could choose for president. Once you've chosen the president, you only have 14 people left, and those 14 people could be chosen for vice president. Once you've chosen a president and a vice president, you've already used 2 of those 15 people, so that means there's only 13 positions left for the secretary. So if we multiply those 3 numbers together, we have 15 times 14 times 13, And this would be 2,730 different ways. And again, the notation for this would be P. We have 15 options and 3 openings. So now if we look at some more examples here. Example 3, we now simply have P of 7 and 2. This means permutations with 7 options and 2 openings. So we go 7 for the first option, 6 for the second option. And 7 times 6 is 42. Now, we can also use this to find probability. When we find the probability, we can use permutations to solve real-world probability problems. So for example 4 here, it says consider all of the 5-digit numbers that can be made by the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, where no digit is used more than one time. Which means that after a 5 is used, you cannot use it again. It says find the probability that one of these numbers ends in a 5. So, let's figure it out. You have how many different options? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is the first number, second number, third number, fourth number, and fifth number. So you have 5 options for the first number, 4 for the second, 3, 2, and 1. Very similar to example 1, so we know that there are 120 total ways. Now let's find how many ways we can choose to end in a 5, which means we really take out this last opening. And we've used one of the numbers. So now we only have 1, 2, 3, and 4 openings because we've used this last number, and that happens to be 5. So now for this first option, we only have 4. The second opening, we only have 3, 2, and 1, because we've already dealt with this 5. So 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 is 24 ways to end in a 5. So what we're going to do is 24 divided by 120, which simplifies down to 1 over 5, or 20%. All right, that's going to be the end of lesson 6. If you have any questions, please let me know.